Hey guys, Preston here. So today we're just gonna do a quick disassembly, cleaning, and reassembly of the Enzo Birk 75. This one's desert ironwood. Absolutely beautiful knife. So yeah, let's get into it. And you can also just take a look at how this thing is constructed. There's a lot of cool things going on in here. So yeah, stay tuned. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is just remove these clip screws. Notice how these are beautifully countersunk into the clip right there. So when you're putting this guy in your pocket, it tends to slide in a lot easier than on something like this Benchmade where the screws are there protruding above the clip. Anyway, get that guy out. There we go. Now we're gonna just undo all these screws on this side, right here. So one of the coolest things about this knife is that it has this design with a hidden pivot. So the pivot is actually underneath the scale here, and the other side is where the pivot adjustment screw is. So the non-clip side, which is great because then you don't have to take off the clip, you just take off these 4 screws and you get access to the pivot. So you'll see that in just a second. I also like to say that all these screws feel very solid. None of them want to strip out on you, which is great because I've had some trouble with Benchmades in the past wanting to strip, and it can be annoying. Alright, so now we're going to take the side that's not the lock side, right here, and we will go ahead and remove all these screws. Just like this. Now go ahead and take these guys out. I'm going to put them over with my scales on my paper towel that I have up around the corner here, just to keep track of them. You know, right and left side, got to keep them separated from each other. Now I'm going to open the blade. You always want to remove pivots with the blade open, just to prevent the chance of your blade tapping into a some sort of spacer or something. This is going to be the next bit here. Got some Loctite in there, so be just gentle and slow with it. There's our pivot screw. Put that away. Now we can pop this guy off. I'll disengage the lock just to make it a little easier. There it is. You see that gunk up in there? Oh yeah. So there we are. I'll go up there. Okay. So there's that, and then the blade will come right on out of here. Boom. And the washers are right there and there on the blade, so I'll go ahead and drop this washer back there so I don't lose it. Put this washer over with the other scale. And there we go. I'll pop the pivot out like that. Put it on its correct side. Take the washer, put it over there. Here's the stop pin right there. Just kind of floats freely in the hole. And take that out. And then we'll flip this guy over and we can finish taking this guy apart. There we go, and there's the 3 back spacers, and all of these are cut with this D shape on one of the sides. There it is, and that D shape just allows it to lock while you unscrew it and screw it in. Alright, and you can just kind of see how I have all this laid out. You know, got the stuff that goes in the middle, such as the pin and the back spacers, and then we've got the pivot and then the washers on their correct sides. We have the clip over on its side. Everything's on its correct side, and just the different kinds of screws are all mixed together right here, because the smallest ones are for the scale, the bigger ones are for the back spacers through the liners. So all of that I've got nice laid out in my head and on the table here, so it'll make reassembly easier. But now it's time to get on to cleaning. Alright, so first thing I want to clean out is the blade. It doesn't take much to clean it out, honestly. I just take a paper towel typically, and we wipe off all this gunk that we've got. It's okay if it's not completely perfect. It's just a knife. Alright, now we can clean out the, or we can clean off this liner, the lock side. Just trying to wipe any grease off with the paper towel. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We got no rust going on here. So yeah, there we go, and I'll lay that on its correct side. Speck of something there. Look at the other liner. See how it's dirty there? And now you see that ring that's getting polished on there? The action's smoothing out as it polishes that ring in there, which is great. That's just breaking it in, and that's all good. So I'll lay that over on its side. Right there. As far as the wood scales go, not much to do there. You just kind of dust them off a little bit on the inside. And on the outside too. You know, something I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go get some boiled linseed oil and recoat these, because you can see where it's kind of faded out. It used to be a little shinier there with the boiled linseed oil. It's kind of rubbed out a little bit, so these could use a second coating of that. So we're going to do that in between this clip and the next. And the last thing we got to wipe off is our washers. You know, just things pertaining to the action is what we want to clean off a little bit. Just kind of wiping it there. This washer for that side. washer for this side. There we go. Alrighty, and now, one more thing. Gotta clean the pivot off. Sorry about the focus, y'all. I'm sure you can understand what I'm doing here. Alright, so now we've got all that, we can go ahead and start reassembling, but I'm going to go put some boiled linseed oil on these. Alright guys, you saw the disassembly, so we're going to go ahead and speed up the reassembly for you, and all we're going to be doing is put it back together the way we took it apart, and putting this KPL on the washers and in the pivot. So, stay tuned. One thing I wanted to show you real quick is the attention to detail on this thing is just incredible. Like the length of all the little screws that go in these 4 holes, the scale screws. Look, this screw hole, it overlaps a washer. You see that? And that screw is long enough to get a solid grip into this liner and doesn't touch the washer that's right up against it. That's incredible. I mean, yeah, so just wanted to point that out, because on knives like our Benchmade here, if we take a little flashlight and shine her in there, you see that little shiny speck right in the middle down there? That's a screw sticking out. If you look over here on the back where the clip goes in, that clip screw right there is sticking out. So it's pretty amazing that Enzo's design incorporates a screw going in right directly above a washer, and that screw is perfect length to make that work. So that's pretty awesome. Another thing I wanted to point out real quick is just these little guys right here. This dude, I get him to focus, goes into this hole other way around, just like this. There's 2 of those, and those match up with these 2 holes on this guy, so that when you put them on, it aligns it perfectly. Alrighty, there she is, all cleaned up and put back together. You can see that blade centering is just perfect at the tip there. That's what we want. Scales are looking nice and clean, a little oily, that's good. Beautiful though. The action, just awesome. So smooth. Absolutely beautiful. Well guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it or maybe learned something, and that you have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless.